so I'm probably going to do one more. So I'm just going to, yeah, actually I did the Colour of a Perfect Moment yesterday, so I'm going to do this one. I lost my leg a few years ago in an accident. And for those that don't believe me, I'm going to show you. It's all about accessories, isn't it, girls? Just wanted to show off a little bit. I've always been, before I lost my leg, I've always been fascinated with the sort of disabled experience, especially when I see disabled people that seem to be full of life and not miserable and stuff like that. I always wondered, what is that? What is that allows you to have that sort of tragic thing happen to you, but actually be fully engaging in life and not sort of feeling sorry for yourself? And then it happened to me. And one of the things I did when I first lost the leg is that I sort of made a point of going out on the streets with shorts on, to sort of see what kind of responses and reactions I got, because I've never been very PC, and I'm still not very PC. Like, I often call myself a cripple because I can. And you know, one of the things I realised really quickly was I was never going to be able to control other people's reaction to disfigurement, because it's just naturally human to, you know, some people are going to go ooh, and some people are going to go ooh, and, you know, that's just a natural reaction. So rather than the PC attempt to stop people reacting or thinking what they think, it would be better for me to learn to deal with those responses. Do you remember that old thing your mum used to tell you? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me? Did anyone's mum ever used to tell me that? That thing, you know, it's the opposite of PC. It's like, it's my responsibility to deal with my pain, not the world's. And so I went out and I kind of, you know, got all various reactions. So you get the reaction you get from kids, which is the most clear, sort of honest reaction, which is like, oh, what happened to you? You know, kids will just look and point and stare and ask you questions, which is great. And then you get the sort of normal reaction of a normal person who will look, because it's fascinating, you don't often see someone with one leg, and they'll look, but then if you look at them, they'll, you know, look like embarrassed sort of thing. And then you get the reaction of people who don't want to be reminded of the fragility and vulnerability of the human body. And so it's like, ugh, you know, they literally recoil and repulsed, and don't bring that in my face, I don't want to see that, because I want to feel invulnerable. And then you get, it tends to be sort of a handsome middle-aged woman with children of university age, who would just give you this, like, just, you know, this kind of smile that kind of incorporated compassion and recognition and love and all sorts of things. So you get this amazing reaction from some people. And my favourite reaction usually came from an Irish guy or a Jamaican guy drunk outside a pub, who would see me and his eyes would light up, someone worse off than me, and they just grab me and, you know, oh, I've got to tell you what happened to me back in the 50s and all that kind of shit. So, you know, you get all these kind of reactions, and I just find it an interesting position to have spent 40 years not disabled and then 4 years disabled, and how, you know, it's a different perspective. So I wrote a poem about it, and it's called Disabled Guy. See, it's a terrible thing to lose a limb, but I've never bothered to ask why. Because what matters is learning to live with the fact that now I'm the disabled guy. I'm getting stared at by passers-by. Look, he's lost a leg. I think I'd rather die. I'm a freak, and people take a peek on the sly. I walk in a room and conversation runs dry. Sometimes fear becomes a sneer as I walk by. They can't hide the distaste no matter how hard they try. But some smile a smile that's wide and wry, because they know it's all about the attitude I apply. Because on the inside, there's a tragic ladder I climb to kiss the sky. So that most of the time I feel like the most high, superfly, disabled guy. You see, it's a hell of a thing becoming disabled after 40 able-bodied years. Hello, come in, sit down. Let me introduce you to your greatest fears. Here's a glass half full of laughter, and here's a glass half full of tears. And here's a brand new rude awakening to a completely new group of peers. So after 40 formative years, I stand before you, deformed. The cause, the need for me to be reborn. The same cause all the fallen hordes hope not to be in forlorn. Shorn of my born adornment, I stand in the dark before the dawn, wearing the sexiest NHS accessory I've ever friggin' worn. So when I get on the bus and I see some young buck sitting in the disabled seats, the cheeky fuck, I stand in front of him and I say, check this bruv, and I slowly begin to pull my trouser leg up. And then I stare at him, and I stare at my leg, and then I stare at him, and I stare at my leg, and then I stare at him, and I stare at my leg, and if looks could kill, well, he'd be dead. You see, I get my powers from the kids. Some call me a flid, but most think I'm Inspector Gadget. And when they see the leg, they all point and stare. And when they see the stump, the little girls get scared. But my little mate Neo didn't care. He took one look and said, "Oh yeah, a bionic leg, cool, I want one too." I'm like, "Wake up, Neo, legs are best still attached to you." You see, I used to think we were freaks too. We used to make me uncomfortable, like we can do you. I didn't quite know what to say or do. I didn't want to get caught up in any boo-hoo. But now I'm one of them, and they're one of me. And when the shoe's on the other foot, it's amazing what you see. People dealing with agony, people dealing with tragedy, with fantastic existential majesty. People whose physicality and neurology is way more damaged than me, but whose intensity of empathy is absolutely exemplary. See, disabled people tend to be very experienced existentially, and our experience of reality is very valuable when viewed creatively. And inspirationally, the very thing that you'd hate to be may be the beginning of your greatest destiny. It may be the perfect test to see if you can be more than you were born and blessed to be. Thank you very much.